Well, welcome to the Sunday Politics. Now, you've suspended the strike for the moment. What will it take to get you to call it off entirely?
Well, we want to know, first of all, why these booking offices have got to close. The Mayor of London made it quite clear in his election programme that the booking offices would remain open. It was strange, really, because Ken Livingstone wanted to close them down, and the Mayor thought it was popular to keep them open, and put in his campaign to keep them open. But however, we haven't seen any of these figures. We keep on getting told that only 3% of people use the booking offices. That's not true. Been research done. For example, if someone goes to a booking office at the moment with someone sitting there and asks for a ticket less than £5, they're not allowed to sell them a ticket. It's absolutely madness. We talk about efficiency and productivity.
Do you use the ticket office?
Yeah, when it's open, yes.
Because you said to ITV that you didn't.
Well, I don't know what I said to ITV. I mean, I don't know what time of the day that people use the ticket offices. Sometimes they're open, sometimes they're closed. But you see, the point is people try and make out that these ticket office staff are just people that sit behind barriers just like a newsagent. I'm not knocking a newsagent. However, these people were the same people that was treated like lions when the vicious terrorist attacks took place. They were the people that come out of the booking offices, helped the people that was maimed, took them out of the tunnels, and now all of a sudden they're lazy people that just sit behind ticket offices.
Well, I'll come on to that in a minute, because my understanding is that the plan is that these people would come from behind and be out and about now. But if the management wants to run the underground without ticket offices, isn't that their prerogative? I mean, they're paid to manage, not you, not your members. They're the managers.
Yes, management are there to manage, and we want good managers. The trouble is we've got some very bad managers that are not looking at the railway as a whole. This is a successful industry. This is not an industry in decline. It's one of the most successful industries in Britain. It's moving 3.4 million people a day. All the forecasts are it's going to move to 3.6 million a day.
More and more people using the
Mayor wants to run services on a Friday and Saturday night. We're not opposed to that. However, it doesn't make sense that if more people are going to be using the tube on a Friday and Saturday night and coming home at 2, 3, 4 in the morning, a lot of people drinking, a lot of people not drinking, why take 1,000 people off the network when then people would be the ones that come to the aid of those people that are looking for people?
OK, I'm going to come back to that, but I want, first of all, to show you this picture. Let's put it up on the screen. Now, this is you.
Lovely.
It's taking a break in Brazil, I think it is.
I was trying to copy you.
You deserve this break because you've done a fantastic job for your members. Yes,
I mean, I don't want to see what people's holidays have got to do with it. I mean, let's get every editor of the daily newspapers and see where they go on their holidays. I'd like to know where they go on their holidays. What I choose...
But I'm not attacking you for doing that.
You've got a picture up there. I've got to say, why don't they go and follow Boris Johnson when he was away on holiday, when the riots were taking place in London, and he refused to come back? Why don't they go and view all of the editors of the newspapers where they go on their holiday, and why don't they look at you when you go on holiday?
Well, they sometimes do, actually. I mean, the basic pay of a tube driver will soon be £52,000. Ticket office workers are already earning over £35,000. I mean, never mind a holiday in Copacabana Beach. Your members should buy your house there for what you've done for them.
Well, number one, when you look at the papers this morning, I see that Wayne Rooney is going to get a £70 million deal over the next 4 years. I see that NHS doctors are getting £3,000 a shift. And the fact of the matter is, I see a lot of people who do a lot of jobs in Britain who, in my opinion, don't do anything for society. All I'm saying is that in life in general, the top paid people in this country should be doctors and nurses. Unfortunately, we live in a jungle. And that jungle is that if you're not strong, then the bosses will walk all over you. The reason why we've got good terms and conditions is because we fought for them. And the reality is, all of these three main political parties, Liberals, Tories and Labour, have all put no programme up to defend working people. So we have to do it on our own.
Right. And that's why you've done such a great job for your members and why your union membership has been rising. People want to be part of a successful operation. But it has come at a cost for less well-paid workers, hasn't it, who travel on the tube?
Well, at the end of the day, what we've got to do, if anyone believes that if London Underground tube workers take a pay freeze, then they're going to redistribute that money to the rest of the workers that work on the tube.
No, but the people who do travel on the tube, I mean, let's just have a look at some of them, because they're the ones that have suffered from your strike action. I mean, as you say, the starting salary of a tube driver now 48,000 is about the earning. Starting salaries for a nurse only 26, 22 for a young policeman, 27 for a teacher starting out. They're the as your members have prospered, They're the ones who've had to live through 24 strikes in 13 years to push up your members' pay condition. I mean, it's very much it's an I'm all right, Jack attitude, isn't it?
Not at all. I mean, those three groups of people there, the nurses have had a pay freeze put on by the Conservatives and Liberals. The police constables have had a pay freeze put on by the Conservative and Liberals, and so have the teachers. And the fact of the matter is, we've had the ability to go and fight. Now, the reality is, at the end of the day, as I've said before, no one is going to put up the calls for workers. Not one single party in Parliament are fighting the calls for workers. Yep. They all support privatisation, they all support keeping the anti-trade union laws, and they all support illegal wars around the world. And unless they've got a fighting trade union, our members' pay would be lower some others.
But you've said that you couldn't care less if we have 1 million strikes. But the people, these lowly, lower-paid people who travel on the tube, who need the tube as an essential service, they could care.
Well, of course they do, and as I said before, I apologise to the travelling public for the dispute that took place.
24 strikes in 13 years.
Well, it takes two to tango. If the employer never imposed terms and conditions upon us against our will...
But you've got great terms and conditions.
Well, no, yeah, they're trying to worsen them. That's what they're trying to do. It's a constant battle down there to defend people. You just said at the start...
Tube drivers' salaries are going to rise to a basic of 52,000.
So what? That's a lot.
No, you just said they're trying to make them worse. They're going up.
No. What they're trying to do is erode their terms and conditions by trying to make things worse for workers down on the job. You said at the start of the interview that the tube strike cost 100 million quid in 2 days. So that means when our members go to work for 2 days, they're really worth 100 million quid. That really demonstrates the fact about what they're worth. The fact is, only a fighting trade union can defend itself out there.
But your members should enjoy what you've got for them, shouldn't they? Because it's not going to last, is it? Technology is going to change the whole way your business operates.
Well, as Karl Marx said, and I hope you should know the night on the programme, you said I was a mixture of Karl Marx, Only Fools and Horses and The Sopranos.
I thought that was quite funny.
But the Karl Marx part of it, better recognise what he said. The only thing that is constant is change. And the reality is we've been crying out for new technology, but technology for who? Technology to put people on the dole where they can't pay tax to society and they do nothing, or technology so everyone benefits, e.g. lower fares, a better service and better terms and conditions for the workers that work on London Underground.
But you've made labour so expensive on the Underground that management now has a huge incentive to substitute technology for labour. And that's what it's going to do. It's closing the ticket offices, and very soon, starting in 2016, the driverless trains come in. So what I say is your members should enjoy this because it's not going to last.
Well, driverless trains are not coming in because we're not having driverless trains.
So you're going to fight that too?
Well, we're not having it. It's not safe. And would you want your wife or
it's
your
not
girlfriend?
Safe. We've got them in Copenhagen, Paris, Milan, Barcelona, Budapest, Turin, Nuremberg, Shanghai, Manila, Sao Paulo. It's not safe.
These are brand new lines that have been built so when the train breaks down, people can evacuate and walk down the tunnels. Would you want to be stuck on a train with 800 people on a summer's day on the Northern Line, yards upon yards above the surface of Britain, a pregnant woman on there who can't get off the train, absolute panic that takes place? The reality is pretty simple. It's a nonsense. It's not going to happen because it's a Victorian network. Yes, you can have brand new networks with driverless trains. On Docklands Railway, for example, it's driverless, but they still have a train captain on there because when the train breaks down, the train captain has to take place. But the reality is that's above ground at Docklands Railway, except for a very small section.
I didn't. All these are undergrounds. I mean, all these cities managed to have it, but
you know,
you
remind me about Henry Ford in the 30s when he said to a shop steward in Detroit, "You see that robot over there? He doesn't need a union card." And the shop steward said to Henry Ford, "You see that robot over there? He can't buy a car." So you better recognise the fact, if you use technology, there's going to be nobody there who's got any wages to buy the goods that people want to sell.
Except that all sorts of new jobs are being created all the time in other areas.
Yeah, what kinds of rates to pay?
Coming back to the ticket offices. I mean, not many people use the ticket offices anymore. What is wrong with getting the staff out of the ticket office, onto the concourses, meeting and greeting, helping disabled people, helping tourists, and making it a much better service? They could do a lot more on the concourse than they can do in the ticket office.
Andrew, look, he took a decision to close every single booking office down in London. We asked to see the facts and figures of every single booking office. You can't compare, for example, Chesham or, for example, Faden Boys, with the likes of Heathrow.
So,
are you telling me people are going to be on a long transatlantic flight, 12 hours, arrive at Heathrow Airport and can't get a ticket? Are you telling me that people are going to come...
People will be there to greet them, to show them how to get a ticket.
But they can't cope now.
The staff are going to be redeployed onto the concourse.
But they're there now on the concourses. The reality is...
So what's the problem?
Well, the simple problem is this. It's not just about the booking office. It's about having people there that are visual. For example, if you're partially sighted, you can't use the machines.
Sure.
If English is not your first language and you're a tourist coming to this country, you can't use the booking offices.
Yeah, but
disabled people...
How many languages do your members speak?
I don't know. I'll struggle with English.
Because I know the feeling. The machines can speak 6, 17 different languages.
When they work, and
of course.
And you're dehumanising.
It's when your members work as well.
They're dehumanising things. People tell me, and myself included, you phone up the bank, and all you hear is press 1 for this, press 2 for this, press 3 for that. People want to speak to a human being, and what makes London Underground so precious is that all of the travelling public want to see plenty of high visual people.
But having helpful, well-dressed, motivated people out on the concourse to help, what bit of that don't you like?
They're going to be on the concourse and they're going to have machines. They've got machines at the moment behind the booking office. It's not just a question of in the booking office. The fact is that London Underground did a risk assessment of closing their booking offices down, and it is quite clear that if you're disabled, if you're partially sighted, London Underground becomes more dangerous than it is at the moment in time.
So you're opposing the closing of ticket offices. You're going to oppose driverless trains when they come in. Weren't you opposed to the Oyster card when it came in?
No, we weren't opposed to the Oyster card at all.
You sure?
No, the Oyster card operates as it is now. It should complement...
You sure you weren't opposed to it?
Well, no, the Oyster card itself is how you deal with it. For example, you can't have an Oyster card and say that's the only way of obtaining a ticket. It's like people using a contact card. That's not the only way. Oyster cards should supplement the staff on the job. If more and more people use the underground system, then you want more and more staff to deal with the amount of people that's on the underground system.
Okay, let's have a look at your mandate to strike. Of your members who work on the tube, only 40% bothered to vote. We can just see this up on the graph. 40% bothered to vote in the strike, according to your figures, and only 30% voted for the strike. So 70% actually didn't vote to strike of your members, but the strike went ahead. Isn't it right to have a higher threshold before you can cause all this disruption?
Well, it would be lovely if everyone voted, but the reality was that the Tories took that away from us. We used to have ballots at the workplace, e.g. no different to what you do at a general election.
But what's the point about the mandate that you... 70%...
But what I'm trying to say to you is that we used to have a ballot box at the workplace, no different to what operates in a general election or a local election, and the turnouts were higher. The Tories, by the way, kept by Labour as well. They're not getting off the hook. They believed that if they could have a secret ballot where ballot papers went to people's homes' addresses, where they could be persuaded by the Tory press and by the bosses, then votes would be different. So let's go back to the workplace ballot because you get a bigger turnout.
Will the RMT re-affiliate to the Labour Party?
I've got no intention to.
You haven't?
We've been expelled. We formed the Labour Party. We got expelled from the Labour Party. And there's not been one single resolution to our annual general meeting in the last 6 years that they want to go back.
But you'll give some money to Labour candidates, some Labour candidates.
Those Labour MPs that roll their sleeves up for workers, they get money. If they support the basic policies of what we stand for. Caroline Lucas, the Green MP, her constituency gets money. We don't give money direct to MPs. We give it to their constituency.
You understand for re-election as RMT boss in 2016?
I don't know yet. I may do, I may not.
You've got these driverless trains to fight.
Well, as I say, that gives me the incentive every morning to stay on as General Secretary.
But you haven't decided yet?
Not decided yet, but more than likely I will do.
And will you stand again as an anti-EU candidate in the European elections?
Yes, I'm standing in the elections, no to EU, yes to workers' rights. I'm standing in London, and we're standing right across, completely different to what UKIP's policies are. They are anti-European people, basically. They believe that all the faults of Europe are down to the immigrants. We are anti-European Union. Oh. We're not anti-European people.
I understand that. If the London Underground is as badly run as you think, and there are many other things wrong, why don't you run for mayor?
Well, that's a good issue. We need to stand for mayor. I mean, that's down the road. That's not come up yet.
You're not ruling it out, I hear.
Well, I'm not ruling anything out. I mean, I'm not ruling getting your job on a politics show on a Sunday.
You're welcome to compete with that.
I certainly will do, because, I mean, you need retirement as well. You've got to put your feet up. I'm
Well,
really worried about your health as well.
I'll get you to renegotiate my package then, shall I?
I wouldn't mind, but I'd like to see what your package is first before I negotiate.
Shall we go on strike first?
I'll tell you what, if I can have your wages, I'll be having 2 trips to Rio every year.
If you had my wages, you might not be able to afford to be on the beach. Bob Grohl, thank you very much.
All the best.
Nice to see you.